Welcome back to Edgework, presented by FanDuel as part of the Hammer Betting Network. I am Alex Moretto, joined here today by Rob Pizzola. No So Money Sports, as he is embarking on a trip our way to Toronto to come enjoy this beautiful snow and cold for some reason. I have no idea why he would do that. But yeah, nonetheless, I'm joined here today by Rob. Rob, how's it going?
It's going well. I saw you guys hit a banger parlay last night. Who would have known all it took was getting rid of Albert from the show and everything would just skyrocket to the moon. Simple solution.
Yeah, seriously, talk about me bearing the lead. Yesterday, maybe the most profitable day in Edgework history. We go 4-0 on our best bets, winning over 5 units, all plus money prices there. We go 4-0 on our best bets. We cash the no goal parlay, and we cash our anytime goal parlay yesterday. Unbelievable. Our first one of the season. It feels good to pop that cherry. We got Connor Garland, Marco Casper, and Boone Jenner, 75-1. Connor Garland originally was not credited with the goal. Wake up this morning to figure out that that in fact he got the goal retroactively, which was fantastic. Yesterday was phenomenal. I'm not sure how we're going to top that today. I'm very confident that we are not going to top that today, but maybe you have another idea.
Yeah, and it's not going to happen. I mean, this is the worst spot for me to be in, coming in on a show after like the perfect night. The parlay finally hits. Does that mean that the anytime goal scorer parlays have actually been profitable this year now? Does that move it to profit or does it move it to small loss? It's pretty close, I would say.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we've had actually, I can tell you quickly. We've had 107 shows. We have not given out a parlay on every single one because some of them have been too many, not enough games. But 75-1, we are definitely down on those then still. But if you were round robining them over the course of the weeks, you'd probably be doing a lot better on them. The no goal parlays have been hitting really well, so that's been good. And as Jin Rummy says here, always count on the chat to piss on our parade. 5 units, amazing. You recovered more than half your losses for your all-time record. Yes, well, we started tagging creators with their bets this season. So I think that was something that we were missing in the past. We will recap by creator at one point. We've done that a couple times this season. We will do that again soon on a lighter day in the coming weeks. I know that Albert was at like -17 or something like that when he departed us. So I can imagine he was probably at like -30 throughout the course of last season. Unfortunately, we did not have that track. But yes, overall, the show, not great. I do think that there's some misleading overall numbers there. I don't know. You've been watching the show. You've been on the show for a long time. We've had a lot of different people in and out of here giving picks. I'd like to think that overall, if you know who to kind of listen to, you're going to glean some good info from this and hopefully win some money.
It's been 3 years now. We track everything for full transparency on BetStamp under the Edgework HQ account. And yeah, you make your own decisions as an audience. If you like someone and their analysis for plays, you can tail them. You can look up the record, do whatever you want to do. But yeah, it's always nice to come in off of a good night. And I mean, to Jin Rummy's point, it is quite a funny comment. But
yes, it is.
Yeah, it's. I mean, this is the point of tracking, right? We want to keep things transparent, and we don't claim to be like the greatest winning show on the planet over the last 3 years, but you can follow along and you can be, you can trust that we're not going to mislead in any type of way.
Yeah. We're not sitting here touting how we're winning, 70 units a night and winning our max mega whale best bet of the year and all this sort of stuff. We just talk about hockey and we like to think we do things the right way. And Jin Rummy, you've been in the chat for a long time. I think by now you know that we're not even patting ourselves on the back every day. We are our own hardest critics a lot of the times as well. So, and yeah, Connor, very diplomatic. Yeah, I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus, but I will throw Albert under the bus any day of the week.
Yeah, it's I mean, we brought him on the show to have someone to throw under the bus. Yes. Everyone was getting along way too well, so that was intentional. And he's a good sport about it too. So
yeah, now he's stealing 30K from people's accounts. But I don't know. No, allegedly, I don't know.
Allegedly, yeah.
Okay. We will get into tonight's games. We do have a lot of games to get to. Before we do, Puckheads, the NHL playoffs are right around the corner, and FanDuel is bringing you the best bets on the ice. Get in the lab when you make your same game parlay by checking out FanDuel's player performance pages that track stats and averages all of your favorite players. Once you know who's cooking, add shots on goal, points, assists, or even goalie saves to your SGP. Missed puck drop, you can still tap in with live same-game parlay and period-specific player props. Right now, new customers can kick off the season with $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Just place any $5 bet, and you'll get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download FanDuel Sportsbook and make every moment more. Please play responsibly. Must be 21 plus and present in select states, or 18 plus and present in BC, or 19 plus and physically located in Ontario. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-866-531-2600 or visit connexontario.ca. Call 1-800-GAMBLER or fanduel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. All right, tonight's games. Let's do this. We will start with the first game on the board on FanDuel, which is your Toronto Maple Leafs. You are wearing the hat. Leafs at home to the Flyers. Leafs minus 260, Flyers plus 215, a total now of 5.5 minus 110 to either side. Do you have anything in this Leafs game, or are you kind of sitting this one out?
Yeah, not much for me here. Obviously, the Flyers are a dumpster. They've lost 10 of 11. Leafs aren't a team necessarily, though, that I want to lay these types of prices with. As you saw with the loss to Nashville on the weekend, they have a propensity over the last couple of years to play up and down to their level of competition. Although they've been a little bit better with that under Craig Berube this year. But to me, the price is fair on the game. I think the total's fine as well. As of now, we don't know who's in net necessarily for either team. Not that I think that's going to change much for me, but this is likely one that I'm sitting out tonight.
Yeah, I had earlier interest in an under 5.5 plus money, but that did not last too long. Wasn't able to really get involved there. Under got kind of blasted to oblivion. I mean, it is what it is at this point. You just market timing is important. Didn't really get in at a good time. I will say the Flyers have declared them dead a few times, but like almost feels like the Undertaker gift, where they've somehow shown some life over the last few games again out of nowhere. Obviously not in terms of the playoff race, but they just haven't like fully packed it in on the season. Yeah. Some good efforts in Tampa, Washington, and Dallas. Just 1 point from those games, but they were tight games. Obviously goaltending is the issue. Like Fedotov and Ersin have both been brutal. And that's kind of a big reason why you have to like be very price sensitive, especially when it comes to these Flyers totals. You can't just chase a number because they do not get the goaltending. And that is very, very concerning, obviously.
If you look at them in the last month, the Flyers are at 11th in the league in expected goals for percentage. They don't get the goaltending. It's been horrible for them. I agree. They're not playing as bad as it would seem, having lost 10 of 11. But yeah, this is not the price where I'm willing to get behind the Flyers.
Yeah. Fair enough. So we will do nothing with this game here. We'll move on. We're going to try and rapid fire through the games that we have nothing on. There's no point sitting here and talking about games we're not betting for eternity. Sens Sabres, another game that I personally have nothing on. Sens minus 166, Sabres plus 138 on FanDuel. Total of 6.5 now. Minus 105 to the over, minus 115 to the under. Do you also have nothing here? You have some interest either way, any leans, anything like that?
So not anymore. So James Reimer's just confirmed for Buffalo. I had some interest in Ottawa in this price range, but it's gotten a little bit too out of hand now. Sens have been coming down to earth a little bit, but Buffalo's horrible. I mean, they have horrible peripherals. Their forward group is a disaster without Josh Norris. Lafferty got hurt against Winnipeg, I think. Greenway left. Like, these are not even great players necessarily, but they just don't have depth at the forward position. And if you compare Ottawa's forwards to Buffalo's, it's night and day. So I do think this is a game that Ottawa will, I don't want to say dominate, but they're going to control the game. I just, Reimer, for me, something about my model seems to really like him. I guess this year he's been 5.96. Yeah, goal saving buck expected, 13 games. So that's what's doing it right now.
Yeah. The Sabres win over Winnipeg was maybe the most misleading win of the entire season. They were railroaded in that game the other day. They did not.
I don't know if you saw the Rangers last game. That was
the Rangers was also very, very bad. Two just ridiculous games this weekend that those two teams somehow won those. Rob says in the chat here, Cousins anytime goal. That is, I honestly like
Revenge game.
The whole revenge game. It does make sense to me. I do have some interest at this point in an in an under, just because of how much it's run towards this over. Like you said, Reimer's actually been good, and I feel like this is just it's a big market overreaction. Ottawa doesn't want to play these like back and forth high, event sort of games. Sabres have been really struggling to generate consistent offense, especially against these stronger defensive teams. This is like one of those very important road games for the Sens where you kind of want to get in and get out with the 2 points. They got some big games coming up against Detroit and Columbus. Like this, to me, feels like the money that's coming in on this over. I just can't fully agree with it. I'm very tempted by an under here. Honestly, FanDuel is the best price in market too at that 6.5 minus 115. You're not getting that anywhere else. So I would let's go ahead and track that for a half unit play. Actually, I think that is the best price in market. I'm good to do that at our show sponsor here, because honestly, if this keeps running anymore, we'll turn this into a full unit at one point, because I don't agree with this money that's coming in here. So we will go ahead and track that as our first bet of the night. Before we move on to our next game here, the Pens and the Lightning. Lightning minus 275, Pens plus 220, total of 6.5 plus 108 to the over, minus 132 to the under at FanDuel. Rob, you had a little bit of interest in this game?
I did. Looks like Vasilevsky is going to go. So that's going to, I lean over in this game. And if the market was to continue to push towards the under, I would bet the over. I tend to bet a lot of Penguins overs. For those that don't know, I'm not on the show every single day, so you might not be in tune with that. But I think Pittsburgh is a dead nut over team. The problem is I was just looking for another situation where Tampa Bay would be going with the backup in this game. So as it stands right now, nothing here. Tampa Bay, I really like the Lightning team. Like as a Leafs fan, we're kind of fucked no matter what, with whether it's Panthers or Lightning. But Tampa had like this little lull at like late February, early March, and like that's gone now. They're just back to playing a very dominating style of hockey. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of big underdogs on the board tonight. And I was wondering, is there one that I could take a shot with that I feel, potentially has good value at the price? It's not the Penguins. I'll tell you that, because Tampa is pretty lethal again right now. And Pittsburgh's peripherals are at like a season low. As bad as they have been this year, they are somehow playing at like one of their worst rates of the season. So it's a pass for me.
Yeah, this was not planned, but you did kind of tee me up on this one too, because I do think the only thing I wanted to mention from this game, I got nothing insider total, but I wanted to mention that the plus, I think it's still plus 470 here for the Lightning to win the division. This is probably our last true good buy. Yeah, plus 480 right now at FanDuel. That's probably our last good true buy point here on Tampa to win the Atlantic. Massive overreaction to that loss in Vegas the other night, and then they were obviously starting some guy I've never heard of ever before on the Saturday. It was not like I'm not docking them for the weekend. They're still right there in this race. Leafs and Panthers also play each other twice, which helps them a bit. And Tampa plays Florida and Toronto both at home. But you look at their schedule coming up, like Pens, Utah, the Islanders twice, Ottawa, Buffalo, the Rangers, and then 4 of their last 5 at home, and 2 of those being against Florida and Toronto. So there's very much a clear path here for them to win this division. I don't think that they should be this long. I think there's some good value there. I think this is probably last good buy point here. But nothing on the game itself. So we move on to the next game here. We have the Preds and the Hurricanes. Preds plus 225, Canes minus 280. FanDuel has under 5.5 at minus 102, minus 120 to the over. There are some better prices on this total as well out there. Rob, we have a double best bet in this game. Why don't you can tee it up for us?
Yeah, I like the under in this game. I don't think that the way Nashville plays hockey is necessarily conducive to breaking down Carolina's defense. Carolina's very, very stingy at home. It's one of the reasons that they have the best home record in the East this year. They've won 27 games at home, which is incredible. Nashville has not traveled well. They've not scored well away from home. 8-22-5 on the road. This basically just comes down to, I don't trust the Preds offense against this Hurricanes defense. And part of the reason the Hurricanes have gotten back on track recently is that they have played very stingy defense over that run. Last 11 games, 9 wins, They're playing really well. So to me, I do like the under here. I priced the under like fair value at minus 117 at 5.5. That's plenty of room. I think it's shaded the wrong way in this game. So yeah, I'm on the under tonight.
Yeah, there's some plus money available as well if you shop around. But yeah, the FanDuel number is still obviously good then at that point. I am fully in agreement with you on this under. I've talked about this a bunch. These are the Canes games I've bet unders on a number of times. That San Jose game the other night. I've been pretty bullish on these Canes unders, especially lately since I've got rid of Rantanen. They've just been getting great goaltending, and they've been playing great defense. Preds cannot score away from Bridgestone. This is kind of one of those like just minimal effort games from the Canes. Just get the job done, get the 2 points, and kind of move on. So yeah, I am fully in agreement here on the under. We will go ahead and lock that in as well. As we move on to probably the game of the night here, the Caps and the Jets. Jets minus 146, Caps plus 122, total of 5.5, minus 115 to the over, minus 105 to the under. And as Charlie Slevin says in the chat, Jets money line is free cheese. Rob, is Jets money line free cheese?
Well, he also did roast you right before he called the Jets money line free cheese. I don't think so. I think it's a pretty accurately priced game. I will say, Washington, they're miles ahead of everyone standings wise in the East, but they've been sort of like steadily falling off, not like a drastic drop off, but you're not seeing the same type of, strength in their advanced metrics as you were earlier in the year. Whereas Winnipeg 5v5 numbers right now are improving quite a bit. I will say Capitals have traveled really well this year, 23-8-2. They've been a really suffocating road team. I don't see much value here, honestly. It's kind of right where I would price it. I'm kind of like at midpoint price, both on, definitely on the side. I guess total, I lean slightly towards the over, but there's not enough here for me to get involved. I'd like to be involved because this is like game of the night material, and I like a real test for both teams, but I just don't see much here.
Yeah, I was hoping we'd be able to get a better price on the Jets here. I thought maybe we'd have like a kind of a lower market point just because of their recent results and the way, you said, the way Washington's been playing. Their 5-on-5 metrics have not been very good. The Jets have they've been consistently playing very, very well. Obviously, as Hal says here, the Velarde loss is something that's significant for sure. Something to keep an eye on, see how they perform without him. But both teams generating a lot. Washington on like a bit of a PDO heater though right now. They're scoring a ton. Their shooting percentage is through the roof. I don't know how that is sustainable. It's not sustainable if we're being honest. That's going to come down. It just has to naturally come down.
It's pretty insane. When you look at the last month, so basically since Four Nations ended, Winnipeg is leading the league in expected goals. Expected goals percentage. Very clear to make that distinction. Mm-hmm. Capitals are league average. They're right in the middle of the pack. Caps are averaging 3.7 goals per 60. That there's only two teams that are averaging 2.9 or more in that span. It's the Caps and the Blues. They are. It's going to come at some point. They are shooting unsustainably high. I don't love to necessarily try to time that though. Yeah. But there's going to be a scenario where they are going to fall in a slump. Hopefully for them, it's not in the playoffs, but they're not going to shoot at even strength. If you look at the talent in their lineup, they got some good players, but they don't have unreasonably insane shooters on that team. So, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I'm interested in Winnipeg. This is not the price where I would be interested in Winnipeg.
I thought we'd get a much better number here, realistically, and that is just not the case at all. So market hasn't even been bet into shape. It was just kind of it opened into place. Good opener, strong numbers. You can't really argue with that. Not much you can do. Jordan, I see your comment about Hellebuck minus 200 per hour. We have talked about this a couple times. I am in agreement. I don't think Hellebuck is the answer right now. You can bet. You can basically be getting I was pricing it out a bit last night. You can get McKinnon and Draisaitl for essentially plus 130, essentially, if you're betting both of them. I like McKinnon in this market right now. I've bet McKinnon several times. Obviously, it's come down quite a bit, but I still like it. I don't agree with Hellebuck being minus 200 here for sure. There's no way I'm betting that.
I wouldn't bet Hellebuck, but I could definitely see him winning. Like I just think about, I honestly can't stand awards markets. Like to me, especially the Hart, technically, I think a goalie should win the Hart every year because, but they have an award for goalies. Like they have the Vezina already. So I don't love this. I could see the argument being made that like the Oilers struggled down the stretch. Draisaitl's not going to get it. Maybe if Colorado doesn't end up getting home ice against Dallas or something like that, you don't have strong enough arguments for the secondary guys. Yeah. I agree. Like I would vote McKinnon probably this year, but I do see a large number of people docking Colorado, Draisaitl and McKinnon because their teams did not perform at an elite level.
Yes. Kucherov 7 points off the Art Ross lead now behind McKinnon. So like that's a lot of ground to make up in a short time. I don't think he's going to end up getting there, but there is still a path where like maybe McKinnon does somehow rest a tad down the. I hope he doesn't because I am loaded to the gills on McKinnon, Art Ross after the Draisaitl news. But like if they do like kind of get locked into that third spot, they can't really move up or down. Maybe McKinnon rests a little bit. Maybe Kucherov somehow sneaks his way in. We talked about how they have a bit of an easier schedule. Tampa wins the division and Kucherov wins the Art Ross. Does he get the Hart Trophy? It's 150-1 right now.
I have a theory that the media hates Kucherov enough that he needs to like really set. It stems from him mailing in the All-Star game like skills competition a couple of years ago, where people thought it was like so disrespectful. But I do like this is an awards market. It's not like who actually is the most deserving.
No, 100%.
Who are people going to vote on? And for some reason, like people don't like Kucherov. They don't. I don't see it. I think Kucherov's amazing. I don't see it happening.
That's fair. That's completely fair. Okay, we'll get back on track here with the games. Wild and Knights in Minnesota. Fleury's last game against Vegas here. Fleury going to get the start tonight after Gustafsson went last night, so that'll be a special moment for Fleury here. Plus 160 are the Wild at home to Vegas. Minus 194, total of 5.5. Minus 105 to the under. Minus 115 to the over. Rob, are you getting involved here in Fleury's last game against Vegas?
Yeah, I'm going to do what I do with every Minnesota Wild game. I'm going to bet the under until there's like, this has been, I don't even know how long it's been now. I must have bet Wild unders for like 15 straight games at this point. They just do not have the offensive firepower. Like they do not have the talent. I think last week, pretty sure it was last week when I was on the show, was Wild and Kraken. And the Wild scored like 3 goals in the first 10 minutes of the game when we were on the under. It ended up 4-0. There's like no chances the rest of the game. I'm just going back to the well. Like I do not think the market has been pricing Wild totals correctly. Like this, in my opinion, should not be shaded over. It should be shaded under. You got no Kaprizov for the last like 20 plus games. Eriksson Ek has missed a bunch in a row. Marcus Foligno's been out recently as well. I mean, Brodin him being out hurts them defensively as well with the lower body injury. But ultimately, no. I mean, like I'm not gonna over-examine this too much. That's a big loss for them. And then, of course, Tomas Hertl, 31 goals this year.
Yeah,
I don't remember. Can't remember who hit him from the Lightning.
I don't know, but he's going to be out for a while. I didn't see the game on Sunday. Yeah, I don't even think I saw the hit, but I just saw the news about it.
Yeah, obviously we want Gus, and it's the back-to-back situation. But I'm fine with Fleury. Like Fleury Hill would be okay. Honestly, any single combo of this, I like the under. So just going to keep going back to what's been working, and that's fading Minnesota to score goals. Yeah,
as the under kind of flies a little bit right now on the screen. So if you didn't get that in yet, definitely get that in. Downgrading to Fleury here as well, and it's so narrative-y and it's hard to quantify, but like this, there is something to, you saw Fleury get the shutout in that game in Montreal. You knew that was coming a mile away. It's his last game against Vegas. He knows all those guys there. He's played with that team for a while. I mean, it's narrative-y, but like there's definitely less of a downgrade, I would say, from Gustafsson to Fleury in this situation.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, like at the end of the day, I think Fleury's fine. Like obviously there's a downgrade, but I mean, depends which advanced metric you like to use, because they tell a different story for him. His goals saved above average is above average this year. Goals saved above expected is below average. but he's okay. I mean, like that's being factored into the price for sure. But this is just like me taking a stance for a while now that Minnesota totals are not priced properly. And I've been in my lonesome, like just continuously betting these and close, my model prices are closing like 3 to 5% off market every game, but it's been winning. I'm just going to continue doing that because I think somebody's missing something there.
Yeah. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves, so definitely would not disagree with you there. So we will lock in that under as we move into the maybe the second game of the night here. Actually, I normally say that and tee it up as a joke, but like this is less of a joke in this situation because this is actually a huge game between the Blues and the Habs. Blues minus 160, Habs plus 130, total 5.5, minus 104 to the under, minus 118 to the over. I mean, both teams fighting for their playoff lives here. This is obviously a regulation win or just any sort of win for either of these teams. If you look at some of those, public playoff models and stuff like that, would catapult either of them to like close to 60% to make the playoffs, whereas a loss puts them down to like 40%, potentially even lower. So obviously pretty significant game here in St. Louis. We have seen some back and forth a little bit in the market here. And now getting minus 118 here on this total, this over 5.5. I'm good to lock that in for myself on this over in this game. This is, we saw the over open a little bit lower and then it took a lot of money and it's kind of run, but this is a good number right now at FanDuel. This is shaded a little bit more towards the under than we've seen elsewhere. I do like the over in this game. I didn't think we'd be able to get it in on this show because the fact that it had run, but getting a minus 118 here is good for me. I didn't think we'd get kind of in this range. So yeah, we can go ahead and lock this in. Like realistically, the Habs, I mean, there's going to be regression that hits them at some point. But they are generating a ton offensively. Defensively, they're going to drop off a little bit. Blues 5-on-5 defensive numbers have dipped of late. It's just, I can't get behind the Habs being in a 5.5, a game line of 5.5 right now. It's not like heavily juiced over. It's also like Montembeau's 5th start in a row. We've seen him, how he's struggled when he's overworked. He is not the type of guy that can carry a massive workload. He's very good when he's rested and he's like sharp. When he's playing a ton, you see it. And it definitely wears on him. He was not very sharp in that Islanders game. He was not sharp in that Avs game. And they continue to keep going back to him. Yes, he's made some timely saves, but he's letting in some goals that he should not be letting in. Now he's playing again. The Habs games are just too open and high event right now, 5-on-5, for this to be priced where it is for me. Also, Blue save percentage sitting at nearly 950 at 5-on-5 over their last 6 games. I know it's a small sample, arbitrary cutoff, whatever, but like that's a crazy goaltending, and that is going to regress a bit as well.
Yeah, I think the Blues are interested. So by the way, I agree with the over. I didn't bet it, but for me, it's like a 0.6% edge. It's like a little bit low. It's a lean, right? It's like a little bit lower than the threshold I need to bet the game, but I'm on board with that. The Blues are an interesting case because, I mean, I looked at this morning. They started with Drew Bannister and they were 9-12-1. And they've won 28 of 50 games since Jim Montgomery's taken over. They've had the best record in the league since
that's
the
Albert's Jack Adams winner right there, Drew Bannister. Put some respect on his name.
Wow. What I like to do oftentimes, first of all, everything I do is model based. It's numbers based, but I do like to apply some context to the situations as well. Blues have been playing really well for a long time, but when you start to look at moving averages, so like a 5-game moving average, 10-game moving average for the team, you'll start to see that they're slowly descending, not ascending downwards. They're descending right now. So they're a team which I think has probably peaked like 1 to 2 weeks ago. And now there's probably going to be some value in fading them going forwards. What has been the best for them over that stretch? Defensively, they've played really well. But when you look a little bit deeper at it, it's mostly been goaltending. They've had a pretty weak schedule in the last few weeks or so as well. So yeah, I'm with you on the over. I am like, I was somewhat interested in Montreal, to be honest. I just, again, I'm not sure that I want to play the game of timing when the Blues are going to hit a little bit of a rut, but I do think it's coming for them shortly.
Yeah. I completely agree with you, but I love the Habs as well. But I do think there's, a little bit of regression that's going to hit them. The vibes are immaculate right now in Montreal. Like, it's insane watching these games. But like that being said, you've got you're falling behind 3-1 to the Islanders, you're falling behind 4-1 to the Abs, like, and they're battling back and tying these games. It's great resilience, and it's great to see that, like, they're just not giving up in any sort of game. But you can't keep falling behind like that and expecting to win games. Like, that's gonna bite you in the ass sooner than later. I don't know how sustainable that is. I mean, it's not sustainable. Let's be honest. They need to play better earlier in games. They can't wait till they're down 3-1 to start really going. We'll see what kind of effort we get from them here. But this is a huge stretch for them coming up because the schedule is pretty tough here. They go at St. Louis, then at Philly, which is a must win, because then they go at Carolina and then back home and home with Florida. So really, really difficult stretch here. They need to kind of get through and keep their heads above water. So hopefully your lead on the Habs there is right, or at least they can get a point in this game. But we will lock in the over there at FanDuel, over 5.5 minus 118. Definitely best price in market at FanDuel. We will move on to the Wings and the Abs. Wings came through for us last night in Utah. I had them in that game. That was kind of a no-sweat winner in the end. 240 plus 245 here in Colorado, though. Abs minus 310. Total of 6.5 plus 112 to the over, minus 138 to the under. I get the Abs are a wagon right now, and I get they're playing really well. And I get the Wings are on a back-to-back and with travel and everything. This is still a huge number, though.
It is. I have nothing here. Like, I couldn't be more close to the midpoint on both the money line and the total in this game. Cam Talbot going for Detroit. I got nothing. Like, I just think this is a pretty good, accurately priced game. I don't think we're going to see a lot of market movement here. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I've seen that happen before, but like, again, I talked about it earlier when we were talking Pittsburgh, Tampa. I looked at the board today. I'm like, wow, we got a lot of big dogs here. I tend to gravitate towards every now and then betting some big dogs, but man, Philly, Pittsburgh, Nashville, this one with Detroit. I guess maybe Detroit would be the one. I'm not doing it.
It's harder late in the year as you have teams that are just like dead, right? It just becomes so much less attractive to back some of these big dogs later in the season when you're just like, I mean, the Wings are very much not dead, but like the Abs are rolling right now.
I mean, the Abs last 12 games, they're averaging 4.3 goals per game. They're giving up 2.1. Like that's more than they're not only winning games, for the most part, they're destroying teams in the process. And I just don't like Detroit. I haven't all year. They've never been on the radar for me, even when people thought like earlier in the year, this is a playoff team. I've never been high on this team. So listen, I'm certainly not laying the price with Colorado. I wouldn't even say like go parlay Colorado with, like, a lot of people love to parlay these big money line favorites. No, I wouldn't do that. I mean, if you forced me and you said, Rob, you have to bet the side in the game, I will probably take Detroit. But it's not with so many other games on the board tonight. Much better spots.
Yeah. Mike says 5 goals on 14 shots for the Wings last night. Obviously, one of them was an empty netter. They still had a 53% expected goal share at 5-on-5. They were the slightly better team in that game. That was not like an undeserving win. Utah had 18 shots. It's not like Utah generated very much either. I was a low event game, and one of the reasons I liked Detroit, which I talked about yesterday, was how Vejmelka started I can't remember what the number was, like 16 games in a row or something like that. It's insane. Like we've seen his level drop off, and he dropped off a little bit over the last 2 weeks, and he was not sharp last night. And that was all part of the handicap, part of the reason I was on Detroit. I don't think that was like an undeserving win. We basically got a coin flip game at plus 142. So I would take that, any day of the week. We have some anytime goal suggestions coming through already. I'm going to star some of these so we can get to these after and build out a nice try and win one of these back to back. But we do have some more games to get to first. Next game on the board, we have the Kraken and the Flames. Kraken plus 114, Flames minus 137. Total of 5.5, minus 110 to the over, minus 110 to the under. Do you like anything in this game, Rob?
Does the Calgary price not feel a little bit short to you?
Yeah, it does.
Like so money's not on the show today, so we don't have to talk about the Kraken being some great underdog player or whatever.
Thank God we don't have to lock in the Kraken tonight without him on here.
Yeah, the Flames are really trending up. Like, they were playing some of their worst hockey of the season. I think like 3 weeks ago. They've really ascended in recent weeks. Peripherals are looking great for them. I don't know. I think this is a little bit short. Nothing crazy here, but I kind of expected them to be in like the minus 140, 145 range for this game. So I don't play a lot of sides. Most of my volume is totals nowadays, but I think Calgary's a valuable bet in this spot.
I think they'll close in the -140s too. I do think they'll, although the Kraken, people like so money, and some smart people in the market really do like the Kraken this year. They keep getting bet, so who knows? Maybe I'm wrong on that one. There is better numbers out there. Obviously, they're still short of -130 at a couple spots. I don't know. Do you want to go ahead and lock that in as a bet for tonight, or
let's do a half unit on Seattle? On Calgary. I think Dustin Wolf is going to start, right? Like these are basically playoff games for Calgary at this point. It's the same thing with Seattle pretty much every game, unless they play Minnesota, which is if you see Grubauer, you hit the over pretty much immediately. And it's always possible with them because like the season doesn't matter at this point pretty much. But I would expect Decord and Wolf. If that's the case, I give Calgary, fair value of like -139 right now. So I'm good with that. I've been a little bit low on Seattle recently though. So I adjust my expectations for that. But yeah, let's go half unit on the Flames.
Okay. We will lock in a half unit on the Flames. Honestly, I also I like an over here too. I know it's I know it's Decord and Wolf, and that's a pretty solid goaltending matchup, but it's not Hellebuck Ottinger either. That's not enough to fully scare me off a total like this. We've seen Decord fade down the stretch from playing so much. Wolf is obviously he's not been as sharp as he's been throughout the season. You got a rookie goalie playing this many NHL minutes. That's a big jump from the AHL. Obviously, I think it's natural to see him dip a little bit down the stretch here. And realistically, I mean, the Kraken are just such a mess defensively. Their games are so sloppy and high event that there's so many chances at both ends. Yes, Decord is capable of masking that sometimes. But for the most part, their games are just extremely high event hockey at 5-on-5. The Flames, I think the Flames should certainly be able to get theirs here. I know their offense hasn't been great, but this is a really good spot for the offense. And defensively, I've talked about it several times, how this Flames defense is not good. They just have had the goaltending to mask it quite often. I don't think this total should be shaded a little bit more towards the over at 5-on-5. I'm not going to sit here and say it's some massive edge, but I do like the over. There's -106 and up to -110 available. I'm good to lock that in as well here.
What if so I directionally agree with you. What if we go Calgary team total over? Because it's best of both worlds where or we just do a half unit on both. I mean, we could justify.
I'm down for either. But yeah, I like the look of Calgary team total either. I haven't even looked at.
Well, the only problem is I can tell you right now, you're going to get either a really expensive 2.5 over, or you're going to get a +130 3.5 over.
Right.
Maybe we just stick with the side and total at half unit.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's stick as Calgary starts to run a little bit here too, taking some money now. So, we'll get those tracked. We'll do the half unit on each as we will move into our final game of the day, which I think we have another double best bet here as Alber's Rangers are heading to LA to take on the Kings. Kings -162, Rangers +134, total of 5.5, +104 to the over, -128 to the under. Rob, you can lead us off here.
Yeah, so obviously the Kings have been scoring at will lately, and normally my reaction to stuff like that is wanting to fade it going forwards of wow, this team scored a lot in a short span. I want to fade it, but this is not the team where I want to fade that. The Rangers are playing very open games. They can't defend whatsoever. I really think the Kings, what is it? 7 back-to-back games? I'm trying to think of they had a game on the weekend where every forward on the team ended up with a point. It's insane. That just doesn't happen. Yeah. I do think that plus
against
money
Carolina,
on
no less too. I think it was.
It was, yeah. Plus money on the over here, in my opinion, is good. I just think with the Rangers brand of hockey nowadays, they are a team that I want to target overs with. Unfortunately, they don't generate a lot of shots themselves, but their finishing talent is still pretty high, and they've been able to score in these games. It's the third time I'm saying it with the total, but I think that this price should almost be flipped, where the over should be favored and the under should be the dog in this. So I like the plus money. I think that's a very valuable bet.
Yeah, you kept going there, and there was I'm like, okay, well, I want to add this, and then you just kept covering each additional thing that I wanted to add. So you pretty much covered that perfectly. The Rangers have no business being a juiced under 5.5 team. it is what it is. They're a mess defensively. They're a mess in their own end. The Kings offense is absolutely rolling. And they're generating a lot too. It's not just like fully undeserved. And then I think, look who's here.
Wow. He's alive. He lives.
How we doing?
Live from the Vancouver airport.
So Money, I hate to break this to you, man. I hate to tell you this. We just locked in a bet against the Kraken. We took the Flames tonight.
That's fair. I don't do crack anymore. I'm off that shit now.
I know you just wanted to get your roses after like the best night in Edgework history last night.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we cashed the 75-1, and now you're what? You're heading to the Caribbean. You changed your flight. You're not coming to Toronto anymore. You're heading down south, getting some sunshine, or what?
Yeah, exactly. I rerouted here, man. I also don't want to be one of those guys that's like talking so loud here, so I'm going to keep my voice down. Because like frankly, if there was someone next to me talking so loud like this, I'd punch them in the face too. So.
Yeah, I don't know about punch them in the. You're Canadian. You'd probably just give them like a very small lecture. You wouldn't physically harm them.
Yeah.
You must be buzzing from that Canucks game last night too.
This is the final boarding call for Air Flight 524 with service to Whitehorse.
Oh, Whitehorse.
You don't want to get on that one. You don't want to get on that one.
Not that one. No, nobody needs to go to Whitehorse.
No.
When did you find out that they flipped that they flipped the goal to Connor Garland?
This morning.
That must have been a good treat to wake up to.
Yeah, no, because I know he was in front of the net, right? But like even on the broadcast, like they never corrected it on the broadcast, or like I didn't pay attention or something. But like I just always assumed that like it was like DeBrusk's goal.
Yeah, DeBrusk celebrated like it was his goal.
Yeah, and then like just this morning, I was like, what's going on here, right? And then I had to double check, and like they like officially changed it. It was outstanding. What a night!
Yep. Oh, amazing night. I actually just quickly Googled NHL players from Whitehorse because I believe in signs like that. And Dylan Cousins is from Whitehorse. The revenge game. It's all lining up tonight, man. It's all these are like my friends who see the signs and stuff like that. I'll probably get this message afterwards. They'll watch the show. They'll be like, "Oh, revenge game plus So Money was on, and they announced Whitehorse." Like, gotta put that Dylan Cousins in.
Todd Cordell's wife is from Whitehorse as well, and went to high school with a bunch of Dylan Cousins' family. That's so it's all coming together here. We gotta get Dylan Cousins in the ATG parlay tonight for sure.
Awesome. All right, boys. I want to let you guys go.
All right, So Money.
Safe flight, So Money.
All right, good stuff, guys. I'll see you guys soon.
Yeah, see ya. Okay, nice little So Money drop in there. I forgot where I was. We were talking about the Rangers Kings over. The one other thing I wanted to add is that I think we're getting a little bit of a discount too because the Kings just 6 goals allowed in their last 6 home games, so it looks like they've like been their stingy selves. But like they honestly haven't. Their underlying numbers haven't been that great. Their goalies have saved 10 goals saved above expected in those 6 games. So they're getting some very, very elite goaltending. And like, yes, they're a good defensive team, but the defensive numbers haven't been immaculate. And the one thing the Rangers have been very consistent at over the years is scoring above their means. And what I mean by that is they always outperform their expected goal metrics offensively. They're just a very good finishing team, and they always have been. And over such a long sample, we get to a point where that is not just noise. That is very much noteworthy. So yeah, I don't think this should be plus money over 5.5. And there's a lot of room to run on this one. So we will go ahead and lock that in as a double best bet again in our last game of the night. I will recap the best bets, and we will get the parlays out as well as the Texas Rangers put out their lineup here. So it's going to be 2 seconds to do a little something here as we get the best bets on the screen for tonight. Best bets. All right, let me pull them up here so I can recap for us. Sorry, I'm trying to bet bet some spring training as we're doing the show, and yeah, it becomes a little bit difficult at times. All right, best bets for tonight. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 best bets. We have the Preds and Canes under 5.5 plus 100. We have the Senators and Sabres under 6.5 minus 115. We have the Habs and Blues over 5.5 minus 118. We have Vegas Wild under 5.5 minus 105. Kraken Flames over 5.5 -110, Flames -135, Rangers Kings over 5.5 +105. Half units on the Sens total, the Flames total, and the Flames money line. Everything else is a full unit, but a half unit on the Sens total, Flames total, and the Flames money line. We do have a no goal parlay for tonight as well. Let's get that going here. We have Tyson Forster, Philip Forsberg, and Morgan Frost -107. That is our no goal parlay for tonight. Hopefully we can stay hot with those, and hopefully we can stay hot with the anytime goal parlay. Let's try and get one of these together. Rob, before I go to the chat, I know you do like to bet a lot of these as well. Do you have anyone that you kind of had teed up for tonight that you wanted to include or no?
Yeah, and it came up in the chat already, which is great. Alex Laferriere.
Okay.
Pretty stark contrast between his individual expected goals and his actuals over the past month. Like a really, really stark contrast. Now, obviously, the odds on this, it's like 4-1 or higher. He's only scored one goal his past 16 games. Not a goal scorer necessarily, but I do like the over in the game for one. I think he's playing an opponent where he will get some looks in the game. So I agree with Jordan. I'm glad he brought it up in the chat. There was actually a few that came up in the chat that I think are interesting looks, but this was the one that I was going to go with today.
Okay, so we will lock in Laferriere there. And I think we should put Dylan Cousins in here as well.
Yes. I think Cousins, like, irrespective of like, you know, the bullshit we've been talking about, you know, so money with the White Horse announcement and, you know, the revenge game. I actually think that's just a good look in general. I mean, Cousins has been pretty solid. He's been buzzing. 8 games since he's come over to Ottawa, 3.6 individual expected goals. It's really solid for the amount of ice time he's getting. I think it's a good look.
And yeah, like, you do have the boost playing against your former team. Like, he's obviously going to want to go into Buffalo tonight and show up. So, you know, you're going to have that, you know, you're going to get that effort from him. So we will have Laferriere and Cousins in there. Ron, who's always very good with his suggestions here, says Nick Suzuki. We have an over in that game. You leaned Habs +220 on FanDuel. What do you think?
I like Ron. I don't love Suzuki in this price range, but I don't have to agree with everything. Sometimes you just got to say, you know what, ride the hot hand. Someone else is seeing something. So I'm okay with that if we want to go that route. And again, like you said, you got the over in the game. I lean over, so could definitely go that route.
Yeah, let's get Suzuki in there. That's 3. Now we got to get a little stingy because we got a number of suggestions and we only have room for one more. We don't need to go crazy here with like 5 or 6 after winning our thing last night.
I like one of these. I mean, but this is now we're getting out of hand into like crazy price territory. I actually like Bunting. I like Michael Bunting in that price range. I mean, it's all relative to price, right? Bunting, another guy that like he's been around it since coming back. I mean, he's getting good minutes.
I mean, it is. I guess technically it's a revenge game too, right? It is technically a revenge game for him. We do have an under in that game, but I mean,
I know that's the problem, right?
He's 0-0, I guess. At the same time, like, you know, we can't have the best of both worlds. We can get a goal from them and still you know, comfortably cash this under.
Honestly, though, okay, so the Black Panther X7 here said Coronado goal. Mm-hmm. That's a, like, I didn't even look at Coronado today, but I mean, since 4 Nations, he's just been like all over it.
Well. I think part of the reason I had the Morgan Frost in the ATG parlay as well is because Backlund. It sounds like Backlund might be back tonight. Play. So I think Frost would get demoted down the lineup there. And then obviously that helps Coronado's case here as well. We have the over. We have the Flames. I'm down to put Coronado in there.
If it just feels better because it aligns with my pre-existing bets on the game versus rooting for I think Bunting is a good bet. Don't get me wrong. But like, I just don't want to be rooting all game for a Bunting goal when I'm cheering for the under. You know what I'm saying?
Especially if it's like too late. You're like,
right? Yeah, I don't want that. I don't want that. So yeah, it could go any route, but I mean, if we want to get nuts, we could just go Cousins 2+ in the parlay as well.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. 20-1 on FanDuel. I might honestly bet that myself though. I think I'm going to put a little small bet on that just because we've talked about it so much. And the FOMO I will have if he goes in there and scores 2 or 3 goals tonight, I won't be able to live with myself. So just for that reason alone, I think I'm going to get on that with you, Ron. Sorry. And then okay, so yeah, do you want to do Coronado? I'm good with Coronado as our 4th.
So am I. I think he's been really hot. And listen, he's shooting above expectations, but I think it's a good matchup for them. And yeah, I mean, the suggestions were all good today, honestly.
Yeah, they were.
Someone suggested Huberdeau. I bet Huberdeau a couple times last week, and that worked out for me. Someone suggested Nick Paul. Nick Paul's been playing really well as well. There's a lot of good suggestions today. So I feel like the guy who's going to like narrow it down and pick my own ones, and then I watched the show all year long. It happened for that's the theme of this show was Alex rejecting players that would constantly score. I don't want to be that guy.
I was doing a service to the chat. If I rejected your goal scorer, you knew you could go out there and bet him very, very handsomely, and you would win more often than not. So you're welcome for how long that went on for.
Yeah.
But times have changed. We cashed an anytime goal parlay last night. Now whoever we
can
put in
victory
here
lap that the rest of the
So,
year. All you got to do is win one of those all year.
Yes.
We should have started a Discord today. Paid Discord after that, right?
Big missed opportunity. And as Charles says here, bunting unofficial play. This way, not on the record if it loses. If it wins, we can come on here tomorrow and be like, well, we talked about bunting. There you go. That's another win.
Right.
Capping 101. So, okay, I say let's put Coronado in here as our 4th. And that'll round out the parlay. So Coronado, Cousins, Laferriere, and Suzuki. That is 188-1. That is today's anytime goal parlay. You can bet your ass I'm going to be round robining these in 2s, 3s, and 4s for tonight. When the iron's hot, you got to strike, and that's what I'm going to be doing here. So, all right, that'll do it for us today. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. We got a anytime goal parlay, a no goal parlay, and 7 best bets. I don't think you could ask for much more here on a 10-game slate. Should be a fun Tuesday. Before we head out, if you guys can just like the stream, follow us on Twitter, subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, just leave a comment if you're watching this after the fact. Anything you can do to help us out, help get eyes on us, help us grow, we would appreciate it. But yeah, that's about it. We will be back tomorrow, myself and Rob again, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Until then, enjoy the games tonight and good luck on your bets.